Now let's take the category of waste. Upon reviewing dozens of waste goals across cosmetics, value chain players, and other industry leaders, it's apparent that the two most important aspects of waste goals are performance improvements and the extent of value chain coverage of those improvements. Translating that into goal attributes, it becomes percent reductions, as denoted in the y-axis, and extent of goal coverage, as denoted in the x-axis. The x-axis is further segmented to show the different extents of coverage of the value chain. Partial coverage of a company's operations, for example, waste goals at a distribution center, full or entire operational coverage, an additional part of the value chain beyond operational control, and the most extensive is full coverage of all the value chain. On the y-axis, 50% and 100% improvements are called out based on the goals that we're about to see plotted. Also shown is beyond 100% or net positive, which a few innovative companies are exploring. Here are the 11 packaging goals found for the 12 companies reviewed. And again, those companies were Macy's, Estee Lauder, Shiseido, L'Oreal, Walmart, Unilever, Johnson & Johnson, Amazon, Nestle, P&G, Kering, and H&M. Note, 4 of the companies had no specific waste goals, as seen in the circle here. 4 companies had multiple specific waste goals, which we will momentarily see are Walmart, L'Oreal, Estee Lauder, and Unilever. And 8 companies have set some form of zero waste to landfill or 100% waste reduction goal for various coverage of their value chain, and this is shown in the oval. 2 cover part of their operations, 3 cover all of their operations, 1 cover an additional part of the value chain, and 2 have full value chain coverage. Here are the companies with multiple goals, first starting with Walmart. Walmart's 2 goals are to eliminate landfill waste from stores and Sam's Club locations by 2025. This is the partial operations goal denoted in the graph, and aspire to achieve zero waste, which is plotted for all of the value chain. Next, here are L'Oreal's 2 waste goals. Zero waste to landfill by 2020, which is denoted on the graph for entire operations, and 60% reduction in waste from plants and distribution centers by 2020, which is denoted by the partial operations plotting. Next, here are Estee Lauder's 2 waste goals. Zero waste to landfill, which has already been accomplished since 2003 but continues forward. This is plotted for entire operations, and the 2020 goal of zero waste to landfill at all affiliate operations, which is plotted at the entire operations plus part of the value chain. And finally, here are Unilever's 2 waste goals. All newly built factories will generate less than half the waste of 2008 baseline factories. This is shown for partial operations, and aspire to achieve zero waste, which is plotted for all the value chain. Here are the remaining goals plotted, which include goals for Nestle, P&G, and Johnson & Johnson. Their goals are, for Nestle, achieve zero waste to landfill in 10% of factories by 2015, and all factories by 2020. For P&G, more than 60% of facilities are zero waste to landfill and are seeking to reach 100%. Johnson & Johnson, 10% absolute reduction in total waste disposed at manufacturing and R&D locations. No specific waste goals were found for Amazon, Shiseido, Macy's, or Kering. Greater context is provided when science-based thresholds are overlaid onto the goal-setting visual. For waste, the science-based threshold is 100% reduction or zero waste to landfill. That is, waste is still generated but is sent to another valuable use and not to the landfill. The science-based threshold for waste is overlaid and shown in red versus all the goals. As you can see, 8 of the 11 goals align with the science-based threshold. The 6 companies representing those 8 science-based goals are Walmart, Nestle, L'Oreal, P&G, Unilever, and Estee Lauder. As waste has been a long-standing environmental focus for large companies, it's not surprising that more companies have set more science-based goals for waste than in other categories, like we saw for packaging. Given the current state of goal setting around waste, a stretch goal would be to focus on zero waste to landfill across the company's operations and possibly into some, or if not all, the value chain as shown above in the oval. With the given set of 12 companies, no company has set a goal beyond the minimum science-based threshold. More and more companies are investigating and signing on to the net positive movement, and we will likely to see more net positive goals, which is where the most innovative companies are now operating.